We've showcased some of the hands from the last couple of weeks, spanning from Jared Blesnick's high stakes heads up Omaha to some of the regular crushers in our daily fields. Now, let's take a look at some of the more recent high stakes heads up hold'em action with two of the best pros in the world in Linus Laliger, aka Linus Love, and Llama. Let's start off with some sick coolers, with starting stacks nearly the same from the view of Llama on the button with Jack 5 off. Llama completes and flops a lovely top and bottom for 2 pair. Linus, first to act, checks over to Llama, who puts in an over pot bet of $12.50. Linus calls, and with the turn completing our boat, we now see Linus lead for a turn min bet. Thinking we've got this all but locked up, Llama calls as the river comes in pairing the 8. Linus once again checks, and for me, sirens are going off.
I got a bad feeling about this.
That 8 creates a potential risk on the river to our once made boat, but we have to go for value. Llama puts in a bet of exactly 75% and is met by a check raise to over 4x. Calling off, we see Linus show exactly what I had feared in a river better boat, taking nearly 40k pot to start. Right into the next cooler in a similar spot, but this time as the underdog in stacks and out of position. Linus on the button raises to 500, and with our 7-6 we call to see a flop. Great start as we flop top 2, this time on a 7-6-3 rainbow board. Checking, Linus starts the betting and puts in 720. Check raise set, Llama bumps it up to 25.50 and is met with the call. 6k in the pot, and a king of spades turn, we once again check over to Linus, who puts in a half-size bet. Double check raise set, Llama goes all in over the top for just shy of 17k. Linus snaps off and players decide to run it twice.
What?
We now see Linus' hand and hate our life as he has turned a better 2. Neither run to help us, and that's back-to-back coolers, both for 40k for Linus Love. 2 coolers in, Llama surely wants the dealer to hit us with our next hand in hopes of turning things around. We now find Llama with a near 2-to-1 lead in stack on the button with a beautiful suited ace-10 of hearts. Action on us, we raise it to 500, to which Linus calls. The flop provides 2 more hearts as Jack 5 hit the felt. Linus checks and we put in a small C bet of 300. Linus once again calls, and the deuce of diamonds on the turn as we see the action go check, bet once again. But what's this? Linus check raises to 5200, and it's our turn to do the calling. Hoping for a heart and getting just that, as the red 9 gives us the nut flush with 12k in the middle. A third check from Linus, and another bet from Llama, 75%. This time it's Linus' turn to double check raise as he goes all in and puts the decision back on us. Llama calls off, and with a now $94,000 in the middle, all we need to do is fade the boat. Rough. Okay. I'm not that cruel. 3 coolers and up over 6 figures, let's flip views to Linus and show some justice for our boy Llama. Linus first to act on the button with the ace-king off and raising to 500. First time we see a pre-flop 3 bet as Llama puts it up to 2k. Linus of course clicks it back, and with a call we now have over $10,000 in the pot before we see a board. Ace 10 5 2 diamonds. Llama out position, checks, and with a top, Linus puts in a small bet of 1600. Check raise Llama, and we go up to 3670. Unaware of just how strong Llama's check raise was, Linus goes all in for 23,500 and gets snapped off, but decides to run it twice. Llama shows the bad news in a set of 5s, leaving Linus to run it out twice. Bricking both, we finally see one go our fluffy aquatic friend's way. 3 for Linus, 1 for Llama. We stay with Mr. Love for our next hand and holding of Jack 10 off on the button. Raising up to the usual 500 and running into a pre-flop 3 to 2k, just like the hand before. Linus calls and our flop provides the open-ender. Llama puts out a lead of 1.2k as we see a re-raise to just under 3.2k. Always love a clicking war as we see Llama return fire to 63.68, getting the call and going to the turn. 2 of spades as both players elect to check. With the river 7, Llama checks, realizing that his opponent being under 1-to-1 SPR and with a lot of bluffs will incentivize the all-in. Played brilliantly. We see that unfold. Llama pick up another pot of 45k. Don't call it a comeback. 3-2 now, and Llama catching stride. Let's stick with Linus's point of view as he's got ace 4 of hearts and once again raises to 500. Llama with his standard 3 to 2k, and we see a familiar 4k pot going to the flop. 7, 4, deuce, rainbow board, 1 more heart, and an over pot bet of 5k from Llama. Linus calls, and things have escalated quickly. 10 of diamonds turn as the small blind checks this time, and Linus now puts in a bet of 3.5. Trapped him. Check raise from Llama, all in, and now Linus with a tough decision and third pair top kicker. Deciding to call and having him covered with players running it twice, as Llama with second pair and a flush draw is ahead and hoping for another 40k pot. With a 7 of clubs the first run out and a 3 of hearts the second, things are all even and the comeback is real. Alright, all square, we go right into our next hand in our first all-in pre-flop situation. Ace 9 of hearts this time, and Llama opens to our standard 500. 3 bet from Linus to 2100. 4 bet from Llama to 4.8, and an astounding 5 bet all in from Linus to just shy of 35,000. With Linus covering Llama, we see him call off and the rest of his $22,000 and holding of pocket queens. Hoping to fade the ace, but seeing one roll off right away. Players run it once, and just like that, favor strikes Linus' way once more for 44k. Sticking with Linus, now in the lead by 1 and with stacks back to near even. King 9 of diamonds and an open to 500, met by Llama's, of course, 2k. Call and 4k in the middle. 9, 5, 5. Llama repeats his bet sizing and leads for 2k. Top pair and king kicker, Linus bumps it up to 44.80, only to be met by Llama's 4 bet all in. Easy decision as Linus calls, but has been out-kicked by a pip as Llama shows the ace 9, scoops the pot, and once more our score is tied. Flipping views for our next hand, and for the first time finding C Llama with an impressive 5-to-1 stack. Queen 8 off and a raise from Linus. Llama decides to call and our flop comes 10, 8, 7, 2 spades. First to act, we check, and as a near 75% bet from Linus is seen, we once again call off, and now our turn is the king of clubs. Action nearly identical to the flop, we see a check, bet to just under 75%, and a call. Ace of hearts river, and Llama has now checked for the third time. Linus goes for the polarizing river bet all in for 17,500 and around 3x pot. Perfect execution of a river bet and sizing. Linus has created a non-believer of Llama who calls off with 4th pair and the possible straight blocker in his queen, but running into absolute top of range in Linus's now set of aces. Another 40k pot for Linus as he again takes back the advantage. Next hand, and we find Linus with a fat stack this time. On the button he opens to 500 and is met by Llama's 3 bet to 2k as we've all come to know and love. 4k in the middle, and the flop is king, 10, deuce, 2 clubs. First to act, Llama opens to 5k, surely hoping he can get a fold from Linus, and not getting it. Turn comes 3 of clubs as we once again see an over pot size lead all in from Llama with the open ender. Still not getting the fold, but with outs, Linus' turn to be the non-believer as he finds the call, shows the 10-7 of diamonds for second pair, 7 kicker, and proceeds to fade both runouts as neither the jack nor the king improve Llama. 22.7k pot goes to Linus, and his lead extends. And with this being the unfortunate final hand, and Linus being up 2, now it seems as though Llama's only chance is to make up some of the lost ground. An open from Linus in our favorite 3-bet to 2k and suited red gappers. Linus calls, and the flop shows 2 more hearts and 2 tens. Llama goes for the lead of 1.2k as Linus wants to see once more with the call. No third red, 9 of clubs turn, and another open lead from Llama to 4.8. Linus wants a river card as he calls, and the jack of diamond comes in and completes our board. Big swing and a miss for Llama, and with a 7 high, only one real option here, le bluff. Llama goes with the big old bluff, all in 36.7k over 2x pot, and just finds himself gutted as Linus can't call quicker, shows his flop trip 10s, and finishes off with an over 50k pot. Coolers, comebacks, and consistent skill plays. Just some of the fun and excitement that can be found regularly in the high stakes heads up streets. With September right around the corner and the next CSOP being announced, I for one can only hope to see many more of both the high stakes cash and tournament play hit my desk. I'm sure you at home can't wait to dive in as well. As always, please remember to follow, like, and subscribe to all of our socials, and stay tuned for more content to come. Only on Coin Poker.